Hello everyone, in today's installment of Get Better at Chess in 5 minutes or less, we are looking at forks. So let's get right into it. On the first one, we have a pawn fork attacking the king and the queen. When the king gets out of danger, you can take the queen. The next section is the two rooks. There's obviously only one move because there's only one pawn. The pawn goes up, attacks both rooks. When one rook gets out of danger, you can take the other rook. Okay, we'll take another quick look at pawn fork. What's the pawn fork in this situation? We're looking at the pawn on f5, pawn to f6, attacking the king and the knight. And when the king gets out of danger, you can just take that knight. Another fancy one here is instead of doing the pawn fork initially, the rook takes. And if the queen takes, what's the fork? You got it, same idea. Pawn to f6 again, attacking this time the king and the queen. Okay, that is our pawn section. On to our knight section. In this position, we have knight to f7, attacking the queen and the king. When the king gets out of danger, take that queen. Okay, black has its own fork. Knight check. In this case, it's actually attacking all three pieces, both rooks and the king. And then when you save the king, you're going to win one of those knights. Check again, and then check. Oh, so many forks. Okay, up next is another example of a knight fork. Can you see what it is? Can you see what it is? Knight is attacking the queen and the rook. You move the queen, and thank you for that rook. Next up is a bishop fork. Can you find this one? This one's pretty easy. The bishop fork is simply bishop to d5, attacking the king and the rook. Let's look at another bishop fork. It's white's turn to move. What's the fork for white? Bam, f5. Okay, attacking the king and the knight, and then when the king gets out of check, thank you for that knight. Oh, and then black actually has its own fork. Oh, check. When the king gets out of danger, then the bishop can pick up. And this would be a draw because you can't checkmate with two bishops. Okay, next is a rook fork. And this one's pretty easy because there's only 4 pieces on the board. Can you see what it is? Rook to e7, attacking both the king and the bishop. Okay, let's look at a little bit more complicated rook fork situation. It's black's turn to move. And in this position, black can go rook to f2, attacking the knight on g2 and the king that's on b2. And when the king gets out of danger, the rook can simply take the knight. Okay, just a couple more. We can move to queen forks. A queen can do a pretty nasty fork. She had the opportunity since she can move so many squares. So in this position, what's a good queen fork? Queen to f6, attacking the rook and the king. And then when the king gets out of danger, as usual, you can just pick up that rook. And that's a winning game for black. This is another queen fork. In this position, it's white's turn to move. Do you see it? And queen to g8. And once the king moves out of danger, you're going to pick up that rook on c4. Okay. And the king, as slow and, feeble as he is, can still perform forks. There's not a lot of options since he can only move 1 square at a time. But so in this position, it's white's turn to move. The fork is pretty easy because, again, there's really only one option. But king to b6, attacking both the rook and the knight. If the rook saves itself, which would be the best move, then you could take that knight and you're up a piece. And the final fork for today is another king fork again. This is black's turn to move. What's the best move for black here? Well, he has to get out of danger for one. He's in check. So when he does, he simply goes king to f5, attacking the bishop and the rook. The rook gets out of the way. You take the bishop. So those are forks. So I hope you enjoyed that series. We have more in our Better at Chess in 5 minutes or less coming up. Those videos will be down over here. Okay, thanks for watching.